everybody? This your boy Mike from Trouble Down Productions and NerdFeed.com. In this episode, we're going to be talking about The Walking Dead Season 6, Episode 15, called East. Now, as we know from last week's episode, Denise got an arrow through the head, which is also Abe's comic death. Now, there was a lot of people nervous about that, but thank goodness it was Denise and not Abe. Sad part is that Tara still don't know about that shit yet, so that we're probably gonna see that happen next episode, which is gonna be pretty heartbreaking, along with a bunch of other things. We also had another awesome comic moment with Eugene last episode, man, where he bit the shit out of Dwight's nuts and just held on for dear life, man. That shit was awesome, straight out of the comics. I love it. But this episode starts out pretty much Carol and Tobin like talking or whatnot, and Carol just kind of zones him out. And Carol's getting into this position and within herself, I think, that really, I mean, she left this episode, she left Alexandria, which caused a whirlwind full of shit, because then Daryl goes after the damn Saviors, and Morgan and Rick go after her, but along with Daryl, you got Glenn and Rosita and Michonne going. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody's leaving Alexandria, which is fucking stupid. Good part is, though, at the beginning of the episode, everybody was getting booty. You had Maggie and Glenn throwing down in the shower. You had Rick and Michonne throwing down in the bed. And Carol spent that night, so you know probably her and Tobin threw down that night before she left. But anyway, Daryl tried to play our hero. He left, which caused other people to leave to go after him to try to stop him, which was also kind of dumb. Carol goes and passes a truck full of some of the Saviors. They end up blowing the tires out. She gets out the car. They pretty much holding her guy by gunpoint and shit. And we actually seen her sewing something into the coat in the very beginning of the episode, and a lot of us didn't know what it was, whatnot. We find out with a quickness she had a gun sewed with, inside the coat. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I thought that whole hyperventilating from Carol was kind of bullshit, but after this episode, I think she really is. It's really starting to get to her, the things that she's done and the things she's, got to do. Carol ends up getting away, and not without being wounded. Carol versus Terminus, check. Carol versus the Wolves, check. And now she done taken out a lot of the Saviors. I'm thinking she's probably not gonna last a whole lot longer. She may make it through the season, but next season I can almost guarantee you we losing Carol. We have kind of a nice little back and forth between Maggie and Enid, which I'm hearing a lot of people say that Enid is like a spy or some shit. People have been saying that for a while, man. And I'm gonna just go ahead and knock that theory, because I really don't think that's the case with Enid. I mean, she's a traumatized little girl, you know what I'm saying? Get a girl a break. But it was really cool with Enid taking Maggie's shifts so she could, rest a little bit. Enid gave her a jar of pickles, and I think this is another thing that's really making people think that Enid is some sort of spy, is because later on in the episode, Maggie got sick from whatever. Now, people are saying it's the pickles, that the pickles was poison. I got a whole nother theory about that, if that's true. But I don't think it was the pickles. I think it's the stress. I think it was, the fight that was in the other episode. I hope I don't get too much hate for this, but I honestly think she's going to lose that baby. I don't believe that baby's going to go full term on the show. I really don't. And then it cuts to Rick and Morgan in the car. You could really feel the tension between the two in the car, which I really enjoyed watching that. Just the conversation just between them two, you know what I mean? And, I loved Morgan when he told Rick, there is no right, there's only wrong. Which wrong is going to pull you down? And, it went on from there, man, and just conversation back and forth. And I really liked that scene. And Morgan's like, the compound you guys went to was west, so she probably went east. So I think that is where they actually got the name for the episode. Glenn, Michonne, and Rosita finally find Daryl. Glenn and Daryl kind of have it out a little bit. Glenn's trying to get him to come back. Daryl said he can't. Basically, it's in his head that, he should have killed him even after what they did to him. and he didn't kill him, and they came back and did all this shit, so now he feels guilty for it, so now he feels like he's got to go out and kill them and play fucking hero or something. Well, Glenn's trying to get him to come back. Even Michonne speaks up and is like, look, we'll make it right, just come back. And Daryl's just like, I ain't doing it, and walks off. Glenn and Michonne say to hell with it, they're going back to Alexandria. Rosita ends up going with Daryl, which was a damn mistake because that just split them up even more. And Glenn and Michonne end up getting captured by a lot of the saviors, like at gunpoint. Meanwhile, Rick and Morgan follow a trail of blood to this, looks like a big barn or something. And then you see this guy running in like a, I don't even know what the hell it was. I just seen him running. And it looked like maybe he had Carol, maybe he was just shacking up there, but they followed the blood trail to that. And after they ran that guy off, he had a spear, so it could be Hilltop, which Hilltop had spears, or it could have been someone from the kingdom, and that could have been just teasing us about the kingdom a little bit. But Morgan finally opens up and tells Rick that he had that wolf captive in the basement of the brownstone. And you know, Rick didn't have a whole lot to say about it. He was pissed about it at first because he was like, you know, you had him living inside the community, and Morgan's like, yeah, man, you know, I did this, did that, I let him live. But then after that, he took Denise hostage. When they got swarmed, that killer, that guy, he saved Denise, and then Denise was there to save Carl. You know what I'm saying? It's like everything gets a return. And I think it kind of opened Rick's eyes a little bit because Morgan pretty much just sent him off. He was like, you know, go home. You don't need to be out here taking any chances. I will find Carol. And Rick does it. You know, he was just like, you coming back? And Morgan's like, I'm coming back. But if I don't come looking. Also, another thing I want to talk about real quick is at the very beginning of the episode, you see Carl with a gun, and the gun had Lucille etched in the handle of it, man. And that was pretty cool. And then Daryl, you know, tries to sneak up on them while they got Michonne and Glenn captive, and Dwight ends up coming behind him. So you know what I mean. And then all of a sudden, just it looked like Daryl turned around and he shot him. From what I gather, it was a shoulder shot. You heard Dwight be like, as soon as the camera goes off, Dwight's like, he's going to be all right. So I don't think it was anything fatal. I'm going to give this episode an 8. It was all right. It had some character building. It actually had that little scene with Morgan and Rick in it that you know, I've kind of been waiting personally on. I've been waiting for Morgan to tell him he had that wolf captive, and it finally happened this episode. So that made me really happy. It was okay. It's not... The past couple episodes haven't been as much action building as I thought it was going to be, you know, leading up to Negan, you know what I'm saying? So I have been a little disappointed in that. And one more thing, guys, this is also the official Dead to Zombies tee that I'm making for my group. So I will put the link in the description below for that as well. I also got artwork. If you haven't checked out my Horror Hound video when I went to Ohio last weekend and did a Horror Hound convention, I did do a video of that. You can click right there to check that out. And I love you guys. Dead to Zombies, nerdfeed.com, Trouble Down Productions. You guys rock.